New Year's Eve, as I did last year. Going to give you my sort of additional year-end takes here, the last day of the year. Did a long stream last night. Thank you for bearing with me on on that length, and it was good to be there with Stunty, Chris, Brandon, Alex, Dave, and everyone else for in the comments. But I only really went over my favorite finds of the year, my favorite acquisitions of the year, my targeted list, and the 14 of the 23 that I got, and the ridiculous amount of records that I ended up buying, 433, down from 495 2022, but way off my projection. I wanted to run through some of my favorite records and new reissues of the year. I like to kind of really wait to the end for this because it really helps me formulate what I'm thinking. So I'm going to do these kind of quick. I'll put the full list that I published in the Angry Mom Records newsletter, which is where I usually put it. I'm not going to go through every one. I'm going to go through a whole good amount of them, but there's a few that I didn't quite archive into Discogs correctly, so I forgot about them when making my list, which probably should have been in the list, but weren't. So let's get on with it. This is Water Damage. Shout out to the Rev who made me aware of this one. I will take the sleeves off as I go here. On the 1-2XU label, this is 2 songs, fuck this, fuck that, just heavy, droning guitar action. Try to get that ring out of there. I'm not going to give you the numbers. You can see the list below. I'll tell you the ones that were like the highest. Here's one that should have made the list that I forgot about. The American Analog Set, For Forever. And this is a 2 LP. First album in, 18 years I think it is. Double LP, and not exactly like all their other records, which I'm happy to say. This is where we need to be, and bring in a little bit of fuzz, a little bit of sort of additional kinds of nuance. But Andrew Kenny's sort of the vocal, he's still there. The band is the same. I guess they've been recording this for like 5 years, and this came out of nowhere. Basically released on their own. Don't know if you can still get it, but I think you can get copies on Discogs for a decent price. So if you missed it and want to get it, check it out. This band is from Dublin, I believe, Ireland. Search results. I found out about this one through good old Spotify. Information Blip is a brand new band on the scene, sort of bringing about bits of post-punk, sort of minimal art rock, we'll call it. This is on the Blowtorch label. I'll turn this down a little bit. Blowtorch. And it's a trio with a little bit of additional help. There's actually auto harp on this, saxophone, lap steel, so they bring in definitely another little bit of another vibe. Search results, Information Blip. This is one I found out from the Stunty stream, like a lot of you, and which has been illuminating me to all kinds of records. This is one I would have definitely missed. Ben Vita, a name I've known but not well. This is with Nina Dante, the Beat My Head hit. This brings to mind lovely music and the spoken word stuff of David Berman or the way things sometimes float out of my brain as I'm trying to think of them. Lovely music label, and it's spoken word but with sort of like this neoclassical sort of like vamp that's happening throughout. Private Parts, Robert Ashley. A really unique record, Shelter Press. This was Stunty really gave us a good long play on his stream, and it really was one of those things that like the more you listen, like the further it went, the more you kind of got into it. So it's the Beat My Head hit, Ben Vita with Yarn, Wire, and Nina Dante on the Shelter Press label. We have here this one. I really got into slowly. Canyon on the Cranky label, a solo artist doing solo synth work, essentially. A Native American artist. This is her second record for Cranky. And kind of slipping under the radar, but sort of playful, sort of minimal cosmic soundscapes. Simple, direct, very real, very nothing too pretentious about this beautiful record. And look at that nice artwork. Here's a bit of a post-punk record, the second LP for Sweeping Promises. I really dig this band. I know they're sort of It band in a way, but this is on the Feel It label. I believe they're going to be on Sub Pop now. Sort of a synth punk, post punk trio. The vocals with the bassist, don't have her name in front of me, but she's a great vocalist, great bassist. And the guitar player sort of sticks to sort of simple formula, but doesn't mess around. They're in, they're out. Sweeping Promises, Good Living is coming for you. What else? This one we'll save towards the end. This was a great one, discovered by Sam, the Vinyl Douche. I probably would have eventually found this because it does relate to the Cranky label. It does relate to it's like a Jesus Lizard and Trouble in Mind, Intend to Follow, but it's Facts. But I did get this from Sam, the Vinyl Douche. Still Life in Decay. I know Dave was a fan. Steve got into this. A band that was Disappears, the same trio. This has got that throbbing bass leading sort of fragmented guitar sound that I love so much. And they have other records which I've sampled some. This is the one that really hit home the most. Still Life in Decay, Facts. Trouble in Mind. Moving on. Here is Weedy Matasic. Get her name wrong every time. Weedy Matasic. This is sort of a quieter folk album, but doing things from a Ernest Hood type perspective. Like field recordings. I believe there's she's a multiple instrumentalist. Kind of brings to mind some of the more new neo-folk bands doing things. This is on a label I forget, a small label, Open Mouth Records, mastered by Carl Saff, a mastering engineer we briefly talked with, working with, but this is called Old Glow. Nice modern folk record on the Open Mouth label, Weedy Matasic. This one's been talked about a ton. I'm not going to bring it up, but I do love this box set. Echoes by the Fire Orchestra, mixed by Jim O'Rourke. You can see Michael's video on it. Everyone's been loving this, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it does weigh heavy. And it literally weighs heavy. PJ Harvey, I Inside the Year Dying. I Inside the Old Year Dying. What a fantastic record. This is in my top 5. And the way she used patience and subtlety, patience and subtlety to put this record together. She could have really gone like a traditional and gone back to her roots, or sort of like, what she traditionally does, but this one has such a patience and such a sort of understated sort of like confidence to it. I love PJ Harvey. I don't think she's made a bad record. There's some that are better than others, of course, but what she does is continually, I'm typically buying what she's selling because there's a realness and an authenticity behind her work all the time to me. It's with the similar collaborators, Flood, John Parrish. I won't go into the sort of total personnel on this, but so good. This one grew. I mean, I liked it immediately, but then it even got better the more I heard it. So, I brought this up briefly on the stream. The Tara Clerkton Trio. I'm going to be really looking for their records. This is bringing to mind a bit of Stereolab, a bit of Pram, a bit of sort of a 90s sound, but it's updated. You'd think it's a jazz band, essentially, because of the trio name, but it's not really. Kind of little bits of 90s sounds, trip-hop, and ambient minimalism. A little bit is in there. There is a jazzy feel to it. Stereolab is definitely an analog, but it's on the World of Echo label. The trio is... I just want to get the people's names, and it's not in front of me. Check this out. You can still kind of find this out there. They're repressing this, so take a look. And then Habitat 2, a duo I was made aware from by one of UVC members. This is their newest record on Leaving, Jay Forrester and Jay Forrester and N. Kramer. And this is kind of coming from that fourth world perspective that Steve Reich, John Hassel, here they are. Yeah, using percussion in a beautiful way. Instrumental record, and you can kind of get an idea with this cover what you're getting into in a sense. Okay. Sampling, vibraphone, kalambula, angklong, log drum, bongos, bells, chimes, norns, and the OP1 synth. Lots of textural, lots of manipulation of sound. Beautiful. Leaving 2. Habitat 2 on the Leaving label. The first record is called Habitat from 2021, I believe it was. Jay Forster and Kramer. And here's my top 3. Blue Lake. What a beautiful album. This is an American living in Denmark. Blue Lake is the name of the artist. Sun Arts is the record. I mentioned Ernest Hood before. That this is exactly where he's coming from. A gorgeous presentation. A gorgeous record. You know, I talked about the Dorothy Carter record. That's also in here. Lots of... he plays... Jason Dungen is the name, or Dungen is the name of the artist. How cool. Here's, I believe, a form of a zither there. This one, 48-string zither, acoustic guitar, keyboard, pump organ, cello, clarinet, alto recorder, drums and small percussion, Roland 606 drum machine. An absolutely startling record that I did discover from Pitchfork, hyping this, which I haven't listened to Pitchfork in forever, but they were right about this one. This is a stunning record, one that's going to put you in your place and let you stay there for a while. Blue Lake Sun Arcs. The label is Tonal Union. I think it's his label, I'm not 100% sure. And then my top 2, the Yola Tango, The Stupid World. This is the band that can do no wrong. This is the Blue Dish. And they kind of return to their roots in a way, but the sound is big. This is not lo-fi. And yes, Mazzy focused on this cover. The Stupid World. It presents them doing blues, doing heavy drone, there's less of a pop record and definitely more of a sort of like heavy vibe record. I saw them live twice this year. Both were great. This is one of their best records. I love James McNew's songs on here, including tonight's episode. Sinatra Drive Breakdown is a force, and it's just Ira Kaplan showing what he can do, improvising on the guitar, and while Georgia Hubley and James vamp. It's a amazing record. And my number 1 record of the year, no surprise, Natural Information Society, Since Time Is Gravity. Joshua Abrams on the Gwimbri, Lisa Alvarado doing the harmonium and the sleeve. Ben Lamar Gay, Hamid Drake, and featuring Ari Brown. You know, if you cannot get into the repetition of sort of spiritual jazz, you won't get into this. But if you sit and listen and take it in, it's going to knock your socks off. It's going to put you in the right place. It's going to even you out. I just love everything they do. This is super special. Aramite Records. This is actually one of my least favorite covers that they have. There are other silkscreen covers. Actually, this one isn't silkscreen, but there are other covers by Lisa Alvarado, a little cooler maybe, but still nice. Hypnotic. I've talked about this record a lot. I did a whole video on it. I'll link to it even. There it is. So that's my favorite new music of the year. We're going to take a CD break. These are my CD drawers where I keep all my CDs. There's 4 of them, if you can't see, and they come out. So if anyone wants a little sample here, let's see what we pick out. Boredoms. CD break. What else? There's a Boise Voices project. Boards Canada. What else we got in here? Still got some Calexico from Mazzy. This is just the A's and the B's. Beat Happening. What else we got? I got the Can live in Cuxhaven. It's a little CD break. I still keep them. I do keep Canane's, great band. I still keep them because I play them in the car a lot. Oh, here's a great one. I used to have this record, but I gave it to Derek Higgins, Botany, Deepak Verbera. This is a beautiful cosmic ambient record. I got some Boris. Anyway, of course, Boris. I keep all this stuff here. And I come back to them time to time. So, though I chose CDs, it's probably about 1,500 CDs when you count all of these. I mean, I even have, I made reference to Arcade Fire the other day. I still have these in here. I don't really listen to those anymore. Anyway, you can see more great reggae comp. Joe Gibbs. Anyway, let's get back to my favorite archival, reissue, compilations. Sonic Youth live in Brooklyn. I did not go to the show. I missed this one, but saw them around this time. Great live show. This was at Union Pool, I believe. 2011. Just a couple years after they released The Eternal. It's on their Silver Current label. Oh, this was amazing. This is really just a repress, but I loved it so much I had to get it. The Dub Life of Flying Lizards. Startling, sensational dub record. Featuring Ja Lloyd. David Cunningham is involved with this. David Cunningham is really the sort of person behind it. Vivian Goldman, I think, is sort of on this, but you don't really hear her vocals. This is instrumental dub. This is on the Stove Gold label. Absolutely awesome. I also love the other one that they reissued, Forgetting It. What else we got? Imo Hoitasegi Mariam Gabru. This is Jerusalem. It features unheard tracks. I should have put this in my list. I missed this, but it's definitely a top 20 for me. This is an archival release. A little bit of vocals. The Jerusalem track itself has never been released. Really looking forward to the Souvenirs LP coming out. It's going to be excellent. There's that. Here we have Link. Pacific Northwest emo core, sort of post-punk. These are not Fall Colors, a very rare album. Features the band that would really be behind Beck on One Foot in the Grave. A band that, I guess this band was really heralded at the time. People were really into this band if you knew about them. I missed them. But this is reissued by Suicide Squeeze first time. This is Built to Spill if they were like a little more of a post-hardcore band. And really happy to get this one. It's a burner. It cooks. It'll grab your attention. Let's put it that way. Link, Lync. Let's see. I know this one was shown too. Voyageur à la Forcature, archival recordings on the World Circuit label. The Desert Blues thing gets talked about. I mean, I just think of this as music for the people, of Mali, West Africa. Gorgeous stuff. I'm really a fan of his and most of what he does, including the stuff that was sort of like with Rai Kudra. I like that stuff too. Voyageur à la Forcature. Well, so of course I loved this. I didn't expect to love this as much as I did, but Sean Schwartz with Don Cherry, J.F. Jenny Clark, Michel Portal, Nana Vasconcelos. It really represents each person really well. I mean, the notes talk about, or I think in this interview Stunty did with Schwartz, he talked about how Portal tried to take over a bit. But you still really do get Schwartz there, you get Don Cherry there, you definitely do get Portal and Vasconcelos. It's really quite an astonishing, I keep saying astonishing, quite a special archival release. This is great. The quality is good. It's from 1977, recorded at the Théâtre Récamier, Paris. The Transversal Disc. I think you can still get this. Definitely don't miss it. Here's one. It's a pretty straight reissue on the Lantern label. This is a post-punk dance record. Scream and Dance in Rhythm. This is 4 tracks. Includes everything from the 12-inch. Excellent. If you like ESG, you really need to check this. I will be getting the original of this soon. I have a good feeling about that. But from 1982, they call it Post-Punk Mutant Disco Wizards. From Bristol. If you like Rip Brigand Panic, Pop Group, and the likes, check this one out. Originally on the recommended label, or is it recreational? I get those two confused. Another Yo La Tengo release. First time on vinyl for the Sounds of Science a wonderful, watery soundtrack that they did for the Jean Paul aquatic films that he did from the 30s, I think it was. Recorded live in 2001, 2002, and at their practice space as well. I saw them perform this at Celebrate Brooklyn around 2006 with the films behind them. It was beautiful. They can do soundtracks. They can do everything, Yo Tango. This is on their own label, Egon. See if we can still get it. A couple more. First time on vinyl for this Acetone. I did not get the box set because I have the original pressings. I would have still tempted to get the box set because I love this band so much. But if you only get CD only, I do have the CD actually. But this is on the New West label. They did a fantastic job of plating this, pressing this. It's a beautiful, again, deliberate, patient. It's like shoegaze without the guitars and reverberation, essentially. Great guitar player, Richie Lee, the bassist and vocalist, which is a beautiful voice. Anyone who's gotten some of the other Acetones, including the Light in the Attic compilation, definitely don't miss this one, or any of the reissues, actually. You should really grab them. This one, I'll bring up Michel Portal, Our Meanings and Feelings. This is free jazz all the way, but I was definitely into it because Jacques Thalot is the percussionist on this. Joachim Kuhn, JF Jenny Clark bass, Aldo Romano on drums, as well as Jacques Thalot. And Portal just blowing his brains out. This is the Latrade Jazz Club reissue, first time reissue. Reproduction of the sleeve with the flip back and everything, Path originally. Definitely had to get this because the original is a bit out of reach. So, and speaking of out of reach, the last one I have for you today, my favorite reissue of the year was indeed the Pharoah Sanders Pharaoh, with just an incredible presentation. Taking Harvest Time, the track, the sort of centerpiece for the record, and sort of expanding it to the LP, the two live LPs, which are great. They present it in a completely different mold, but I'm not going to take out all the ephemera, but I mean, you have a textured box cover, a beautiful remastering of the Indian Navigation record, which has gotten to be stupid difficult to get, which I think is worth every single penny, by the way. I love Harvest Time. I think it's such a sublime movement and sublime sort of thing to bear witness to. I love Pharaoh's vocals on the second track. I think some people lose it there. I love this whole record. If I get a chance to get it, I would, but I'm not going to go overspending for it because this really satisfies, like Kieran did. Maybe it'll turn up just after he gets the box, but this was cheap for what you're getting here. There's all kinds of ephemera reproductions of postcards, a poster, the additional LP of live tracks. It's from 1976. It's Harvest Time live in 77 at Middelheim and Wilsaw. With a different, on the record you have Pharaoh, Steve Neal bass, Tazumi Munoz guitar, whose guitar playing is great. He does the vamping of those C sharp minor, C minor key. Greg Bandy, Clifton Jakes Chase keyboards, Lawrence Killian percussion, and some of those people are present for the live record on the Walk of Off label. If you haven't gotten this yet, I highly recommend it. So that's going to be everything I have for you here in my CD room. Or my wife does a lot of her work in here, sewing. So new place for you here today. Happy New Year, everybody, and looking forward to 2024. I'll present some thoughts about that soon. So thanks again, everyone, for joining me on that stream, and you enjoy yourself.